Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, point it at me. Point it at me. Good morning, relatives around the world. This is Joanne Spotted Bear. What we're going to talk about today is what is called the Papa Bull. A real live Papa Bull, or also known as the paper bull. It's the beginning of when treaties were formed and documents that are used on a piece of paper. What I'm ready to show you here is the use of what a Papa Bull is, what a seal is, and why it's important when you're dealing with nation-to-nation relationships, and when that nation doesn't abide by the Pope or the Queen of England or anybody's wishes, they do what is called war. Whether it's a silent war or war of the worlds, it's to control, intimidate, kill, or destroy somebody's way of life in order to achieve a goal for a person or a group of people or a nation. So what we have here with us starts in October 20th, 2009. It's the United States of America. America is not a country. America started with a man named Amerigo Vespucci and Christopher Columbus when they came here in the 1500s.
I'm losing it.
Huh?
I'm losing that picture.
I will present this picture to you to the best of my ability, and I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, right here is the United States of America document. It's it's a full document, relatives. It's a big document of what the first writings with the Native Indian people were. If you notice, it's not going to say Native Indian people. It's going to say the OGALAL Sioux tribe. So I'm going to do my best to present this document with you and for you, and we're going to talk about land sales here too. Every Native person is to get 160 acres of land, not 1/4, not 1/3. It doesn't even say in these documents of how much blood degree you're supposed to have, either a dot or an ounce or whatever. If you're Indian or if you're Lakota and you say you're Lakota and our people, you can prove your family history, then the Lakota never turned anybody down. Here we have Theodore Roosevelt's signature on this piece of paper, clearly written in see we have in testimony whereof I, Theodore Roosevelt, President of the United States of America, have caused these letters to be made patent and the seal of the General Land Office to be hereunto affixed, given under my hand at the city of Washington, this 18th day of December in the year of our Lord 1906, and the independence of the United States of the 131st by President R. Roosevelt, and by I can't read that writing really good there. Maybe somebody out there smarter than I am.
That's the secretary.
And his secretary, and recorded by the General Land Office. If I move over just a little bit, you're going to see the seal. That's an actual seal, relatives, of the United States of America, and it's going to say it there, United States of America. Okay,
Gives you the whole land description too.
yes, it does. It gives you the land description. We'll move on over to this next paper and we'll do it again. And in here, you'll realize that these documents, I have full right of these documents to be seeing them. I have a relative, and our Indian people have told the United States government at one time that if you think for one moment that this land belongs to you, we're gonna prove to you that you're wrong. That one day our children will grow up, and when they grow up, they're gonna prove to you, they're gonna throw your own laws in your face, and you're gonna wish that you never messed with our Indian children. So in this one here, we're gonna do exactly that. We're fighting for our land. It's a silent war through a paper. And we're fighting drugs and alcohol, suicide, poverty, genocide, Native Indian world wars. We're fighting for our children to live. We're fighting so our people, our traditional values can carry on. So with this being said, I'm gonna try my very best to read this so everybody can understand. Okay, we right here it says the right here, the United States of America, to all to whom these present shall come greetings, whereas there has been deep deposit in the General Land Office of the United Deposit. It's a ED. Deposition is ION. In the General Land Office of the United States, scheduled of allotment approved by the Secretary of Interior, October 22nd, 1909, where it appears that the Indian of the tribe or band has been allotted. See, tribe or band. It doesn't say that anything else, okay? It says tribe or band. It also says the Pine Ridge Sioux. So we're not known as the Lakota Sioux, we're known as Sioux, Pine Ridge Sioux. In this document here, I'll show you exactly who signed this document in a minute. The following descripted lands. And it goes on to show the land here, where the land is. Okay, and as we continue on, I'm trying to find where it says 160 acres here.
It was on the other one.
Okay. We know ye that the United States of America, in consideration of the premises, has allotted, and by these presents does allot unto said Joseph High Eagle and Wambly Wakan Tonya or High Eagle the land above description, and hereby declares that it does and will hold the land thous allotted, subject to all provisions, sanctuary.
It shows you right up on top how much it is.
Okay. So we're gonna kind of give you a good where you can kind of give you a good idea here that this land is ours and will be ours today, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and it will continue on to our children. Our land is not for sale. Every individual should have 160 acres. Not pick and choose who gets land and who does and who doesn't. As Lakota, there is no rich Lakota Indian until all Lakota Indians are rich. Equal. That Chinupa, it's the same way. It's equal.
Oh, that was Stonehouse?
Okay.
All they said was
So I just kind of want to let you know that this one here is by the president, in TAF or MTAF, and the secretary, and once again it's recorded by the General Land Office. One of these documents I seen here, these paper bulls, each paper bull has a number presented right there. As you can tell, there's the seal, there's the number, there's the president's signature, and United States of America. Each document is very, very real. These documents, they say that the Queen of England, or the Pope, he has right to turn anyone down, but according to the Lakota people, our grandmothers and our mothers and our children, our little girls, they're the future generation to our people. So them are the ones who have a say on our land and our way of life of believing in the Chinupa. That Chinupa even says white buffalo calf woman. It doesn't say white buffalo calf man. And the woman is the one who could make the future generation. It's not a man. It's a help of a man, but it's not the man who can do things by himself. Woman, she knows how to cook, clean, keep a house, and wash clothes. She knows how to sing. She can drum. She can raise her kids by herself. She could read and write. She can type. She can learn. She could do everything a man can do. Take a car apart and put it back together if she wants. And so the woman, our grandmothers, they should have all right when it comes to this. So when the Pope met the 13 indigenous grandmothers, he should have gave them some respect, and he didn't. And that's what this is. This is the paper bull, the live paper bull in action. This action here is this here paper bull is started on a blank piece of paper, and our Indian people didn't know how to read or write. And they were telling them how much land was theirs and what was theirs and what isn't theirs, what belongs to them and what doesn't belong to them. And reality, we were here on this land first. That's what our ancestors, they talk about, that we were here. We have our own language. There's over 564 federal recognized tribes on this island, and none of us speak the same language. But yet we can all understand each other, and we don't all speak Spanish or Italian or Muslim or French or Portuguese. We have our own. We have our own way of life here, and so when they brought this, a lot of our people didn't know how to read or write the English language. But again, the language that you're seeing here was stolen. It was stolen from Africa. I presented this on Facebook, that it was stolen from Kalar, Africa, and it was showed to the Europeans. And the Europeans, they took this worldwide. They brought it here to the Lakota land, and they was telling our people how to live their life. What else we're going to show you here is how back in the 1900s, there was no zip codes. Zip codes is a form of fraud, okay? And the government, under treaties, are supposed to give us they're supposed to take care of us till the water no longer runs and the grass is no longer green. And they did not live up to their expectations. This one here is signed by Mr. Taft again. This one here, his secretary in the land office, and the number is 104029. Up here we have the United States of America, 55. Hold on, show you. 550724.
November 24th, 1928.
Okay, go ahead and put them down, and we're going to show you different documents here. These documents are so well preserved that you couldn't get it anywhere else. You know, they don't just pop up like that in Indian country. But again, the government always thought the Indians were dumb, that we'd never know nothing, and the only way to do that was to keep our Indian children 5, 10 to 15 years behind on education. As long as nobody knew, who cares? And as long as nobody cares, who gives a damn? And as long as no one gives a damn, we could do what we want. Well, we're not dumb Indians, that's for sure. And that's what I'm showing you right here. Washington, D.C. is a corporation that does work just like anybody else. And they have an obligation to the whole entire Red Nation, all 564 federal recognized tribes and unfederal recognized tribes. And the only way they were ever to get away from this.
This one here is, my grandfather went and even ordained a priest.
You hear that, folks? That there's a paper here where a Lakota Sioux grandfather ordained a priest. You see that? Paul Clark will be ordained priest at the Holy Cross Chapel by Bishop and I can't read that very well, but oh my God, that's like holy medicine by Indian people that ordained the
It was never cashed.
Wow. Wow, look at that. Look at that.
It's never cashed.
Trespass of goats. Wow, look at that, guys. Let's see.
These are the other ones here. These are
Transmitted check. That's a check, relatives. Back in the day, that was never, ever cashed.
Never was.
Yeah.
We still have that.
What we have here is also a 1.5 cent stamp. Those are very interesting. There goes to show that years.
4 cents.
And a 4 cent stamp here. But what I'm interested in this one and showing you is, you look and there's no zip code. Most places like Pine Ridge has 5770. This one has Buffalo Gap and no zip code, with a 1 cent, 1.5 cent stamp. Right there, you can see it. This one over here, same way. It's from Winter, South Dakota. And it says Winter, South Dakota, and there's no zip code on either or. And it was dated August 13, 1960. It went to OGALAL, South Dakota, where there is, once again, no zip code.
Here's another one that was sent no zip code.
This is another one here sent by, it's an official business letter, Department of Interior, Pine Ridge Agency, South Dakota, no zip code. United States Indian Services. Why are we showing you this? These zip codes and this government has an obligation to take care of the Indian people.
This is the one that you have.
And they are doing business on our lands. And they made a promise to uphold the fiduciary duty of trustee status. That the 1851 treaty and the 1886 treaty says that any white man, black man, or Indian who does another one wrong shall be subject to the American laws according to America's laws. Okay, so these here, there should have been no land sales. Okay, in that treaty it says no land sales. In these documents, there's no zip codes. In these documents, it says 150 acres. 160, sorry, not 150. You'll also see allotments that are here that are signed by Charles Bates, U.S. Special Allottee Agent. And then C.H. Bates again. You'll see it.
Secretary of the Interior.
Yeah, Secretary of Interior right there. You see it for yourself. This is real. These are documents.
I want it back.
These are documents that that a lot of people thought that would go away. They want them to go away. They don't want to see them. If you notice some of these documents and you face them towards the sun, you can see the front and the back. These documents are original documents. They're not from the BIA office. These were documents that were originally given to the people when they were first signed. Some of these, look at these signatures. They amaze me. You ever look back in the day
And look at that. It says Buffer Gap Retro Table.
yeah,
No zip code.
yep, no zip code. No zip code there.
Same way with this one.
Yeah. What's the date? September 2nd, 1941.
This one here's 1940.
1940.
This one here's 1969.
See?
Still didn't have no.
See, up to 1969, they still did not have no zip codes. They were, letters are really well taken care of.
1953. This one here, it was 1927. This one here was 1927. I can read that.
It looks like 1931, but we won't argue it. We know it was sent.
This one here is 1943. Still no zip code.
Yep, still no zip codes. So what we're telling you is there's no zip codes in 1943.
And then look at this one here is 1938. No zip code.
No zip code again.
This is your little old 3-cent stamp right here. There's no zip code.
A real stamp, 3 cents. How many of you can remember when stamps were 3 cents? I remember 25 cents, but that was in the 70s and 80s.
Now look at this one here.
Enjoy
They
that
turned
one.
around and they stamped it here, but there's no zip code.
Yep, still no zip code on all these letters that you see. The dates are there.
The dates are there and everything, but there's no zip code.
So these are all documents that are all part of the Papa Bull, the paper bull. That we can actually prove as Lakota people that when these were being sent, like this one here, 1959, a 3-cent stamp was in 1959. Oh my gosh, look at that, the Liberty. In God we trust.
So they say.
Yeah, they went from in God we trust 3 cents to $2 a stamp. How do you like that one?
And I still got my check here. And I can't cash it.
And that check there is it should be good. All government checks should be good, but
And I'm not cashing it.
and according to my auntie, you heard her, she's not cashing her check. Look at that postal stamp, United States postal card, 2 cents.
4 cents.
4 cents.
How much more pennies we gotta go up?
Let's see, we got 2, 3. Do we have a 1 cent stamp anywhere?
You found it somewhere. It was in with all this stuff right here.
Well, we'll just keep looking. 4 cents. That one's kind of tore back a little bit.
And that one there's 4 cents.
This one's 4 cents. Look at that one, relatives. 4 cents. The reason I wanted to show you these is not because the documents. I wanted to show you what kind of business they were doing with our Indian people, and over the years how it lied, how they become liars, and they cheated our people out of their land by using federal documents to deceive our people by telling lies, and all they had to do, they killed over 300 million of our Indian people to get what they want today, to call this land America. And if
it's not America anymore.
It's not America. This land is the Red Nation because of the amount of people that died, or you can call it Turtle Island, or it does belong to all Indian people. Some of them's head was chopped off. Some of them were raped, stabbed, murdered, killed for no reason at all.
And they were hung in Deadwood too.
They were hung. How many chiefs were hung in, where was that at? Where's
Deadwood.
that? Was it Mankato? How many?
38 plus 2.
38 chiefs were hung in Mankato. Huh?
38 plus 2.
Plus 2?
38 plus 2.
38 plus 2 were hung in Mankato because our Indian people were catching on to what this government was doing. Our Indian people, at one time, they had to say no. And when they said no, that one person, they didn't like it. And our native people have never ever been dumb. We always had that chanupa, our way of life, our way of believing. And it always told us that in a good way. We've always did our best to take care of these white people, whether feed them, give them place to stay or whatever. And it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough for them. It was never good enough. No matter how many papers they bring our way, you see this is a stack. This is only a small portion of what happened back in the 50s. And
only what I can show you right now.
look, let's see this car. How many of you can remember when a car was $125? Look at that. It was even a four-door sedan. $125, $50 down payment, $75 balance, total to be paid off. Is that awesome? I think that's awesome. You know, they did some pretty good business, and then they did some pretty scandalous business. And you know, I'm gonna be real honest with you, relatives. I asked my auntie to hold this while I talk to you. The Papa Bull document, birth certificate, social security cards, U numbers, land numbers, and even the stolen in number of land. I am so ready to release this on the internet. I'm tired of our Indian people waiting for the Black Hills, waiting for the Cobell case. Some of our people, they live in homes with lice, mice, cockroaches, and then they had the audacity or the nerve to call it the hantavirus scare. And they kill our people with no kind of remorse. And just here we had 3 deaths, and an unborn baby and one who was in ICU who recently got out of the hospital. And you know, the pain hurt. It hurt your mind, heart, and soul as a young person like myself in my mid 40s, my early 40s, I should say. And then it hurts your grandmas, and it makes you cry when your grandmas and grandpas are crying. And the children, they don't have no mom or dad. And you ask this government not to sell alcohol. And you write to Washington, and you write to the Queen of England, and you write to World Court and International Court, and you tell them, hey, stop this alcohol. Hey, our government is committing embezzlement.